Forza Motorsport 7 is going to be reaching end-of-life status on September 15th? Well, that's odd. Let's talk about it. And just what it means for people that want to buy the game or own the game or even Xbox Game Pass players. And with that, let's get into every little detail of it. Forza said they are going to be reaching end-of-life status on September 15th, 2021 on Forza Motorsport 7 because they have licensing issues with some of the car manufacturers, track manufacturers, maybe even music licenses. And because of it, they will not sell the game after September 15th. So, what does that mean for the rest of the game? Well, put quite simply, they've said that you will be able to play the game fully. Servers will stay up, but they really didn't comment too much on whether or not they will be updating the game anymore. But chances are you won't really see many more updates as the game's quite old as it is now. For those of you that use Forza Motorsport 7 on Xbox Game Pass, all you have to have done is buy at least a DLC, and they will give you a token for the game whenever the game is delisted. So for any of you that use the Game Pass version of it, don't worry about having to go and buy a full title now instead of just waiting for them to give you a token. But let's say you haven't bought Forza Motorsport 7 yet. Well, at least on the Windows Store, and I'm not sure about the Xbox Store, the Ultimate Edition, which comes with everything that the game has to offer, is $20 right now. And that's a steal for a Forza game with everything on it. It's actually, I just bought Forza Motorsport 7 as I used to be a Horizon player. I really like Horizon 4, but I can't pass up Motorsport 7 for that cheap a deal. So let's go back to the previous point that I had made just a minute ago talking about what Forza said is the big issue, licensing. And basically the big issue with licensing is the licenses are running out, and likely what happened is they don't see the money in renewing these licenses so they can still sell this Forza game. And so I just want to talk about that real quick, because if you've ever played a racing game before, or you've wanted to play a retro game or have a company bring a retro game back, you might just know what this means already, but for a lot of people you don't. So let's talk about it. If you've ever played a racing game in the past, you've probably dealt with this issue already. And that is, say, you want to drive a Porsche in a ton of non-EA games. Well, for the longest time you couldn't, and that was because of licensing. Companies license out their vehicles, and because of it, the company that wants to put it in their game has to pay for them, obviously. It's how the license works. And so as time goes on, these licenses are set for a certain time. And because of it, it puts a strict date on how long a game can be sold if the license isn't renewed. And that, case in point, is Forza Motorsport 7. I don't know which company in particular may have caused this, because tons of auto manufacturers are absolute knobs whenever you deal with them with licensing issues. Ferrari has always been incredibly tough to make sure their cars perform incredibly well in games. Porsche signed an exclusivity deal with EA forever. It's not until freaking recently, I think Forza Motorsport 6, and then finally with GT7, that we even got these Porsches outside of an EA game like Need for Speed. And so it's not out of the realm of things to think it's an auto manufacturer that's causing this problem. And that sucks. I don't want to see this game not sold anymore, and I definitely don't want to see a weird portion where you may not be able to buy a Forza Motorsport game for a short amount of time. And with that, I want to move into the time frame issue that I'm seeing. And I don't know what Microsoft is thinking, and depending on where they go, can be really weird really quick. Let's lay it out. September 15th, you won't be able to buy Forza Motorsport 7, but that should be within the release time of Forza Horizon 5, and you can still buy Forza Horizon 4. But we're missing a motorsport title. Forza Motorsport, which would be the 8th iteration, they haven't announced a release date for it. They've done some playtesting so far, but we still don't know when it's going to come out. And it's kind of odd in that time frame for a game like that to come out if it's not going to be a console seller for the holiday season, which September, it would be feasible to push a game back further into November so that you can sell the consoles for Christmas. And so, what are we going to do? This basically means one of two things, right? Either A, the Forza team is going to put out Forza Motorsport before that time so that, we have a game that can be played, or B, that doesn't come out, And digital Xbox owners that purchase their Xbox and don't purchase Forza Motorsport 7 before it gets delisted won't have a Forza Motorsport game. And so you may be saying, well, that's not a huge issue. I mean, so long as you have the disc version, you won't have an issue. And that's where digital consoles come in, and is what the issue is at times with digital consoles, is that you just can't. Think of the Xbox One SAT or S All Digital or the Xbox Series S. These two are your non-disc drive versions of these games, and you'll be left without Forza Motorsport 7 with them so long as you don't buy them prior to the game being delisted. So it's very possible, say September 16th, you go buy your Xbox Series S, but you do not buy Forza Motorsport 7 the day before. Well, you can't play a Forza Motorsport game on there if they don't come out with Forza Motorsport, which is wild. I mean, that's one of the big games that you purchase on Xbox. You know, you get your Forza, you get your Halo, you get one other of the exclusives, and you're pretty well set with what you want. And that's just odd. They're going to have a small amount of time where you can't do that. And I think that's really weird about continuity of games and preserving a game. And it's what worries me. Xbox, I really do wish they would extend their licensing out so at least people that, especially you're buying a Series S, it's kind of tough to get right now, have the possibility of doing so without having to lay $20 on something they can't use, just so the game that they want won't go non-existent. That sucks. So, with all that being said about Forza Motorsport 7, what do you think? Do you think this is really that big a deal? I mean, it happens all the time, or are you more worried about the preservation aspect of games and just what it means to own a digital game anymore? Please, leave it in the comments below if you have any real weird or interesting thoughts about it. Thanks for watching, maybe even like and subscribe to the channel. And then with that, have a great day.